Hi everyone. So this is Facebook Live Coaching Mondays. So I'm really happy to be here. I was a little bit late because just before I game came in, of course, my daughter is always, oh no, don't go. Anyway, so beside the point, I'm very excited. This is my first time doing this because I understand that sometimes people have a lot of questions about coaching, that they may not be ready to get a coaching session. And also some of the things I do may be new and different to a lot of people. So I think that's a good opportunity to contribute to the community and share my thoughts. And so this is live coaching, as in if you got questions, you can pop it into the comment. I will see them. I will answer them as much as I can. And there was a link on the previous post when I announced this Facebook Live for people to pop in their questions. So I will not say the name of the people unless someone, I can do it anonymously, and I can also include the first name. So, but on the form you can tell which one is it. Anyway, so I'm really excited to do this. This is the first time because I really see the value in coaching. So, for some of you may or may not know, I started my journey probably 10 years ago, but officially really started to learn and do things related to coaching or intuitive type of work, or learn about energy healing and all these things was about 7 years, I think. But I had my coaching certification around 7 years ago. But then, of course, it's lifelong learning. Is that this is one of the things about life I have learned so far is that you can never get it done, because you can't say I've learned everything, I know everything, because every stage in your life or every relationship or every new business or career will give you different kind of challenges. So you never get it done. But I think you learn to be more resilient. You learn to trust your gut. You learn to be wiser every time, hopefully. So I would love to share my experience and what I know, and as a coach, my perspective. And some of the questions I answer are very typical, common, and I have some more specific. So anyway, the first question I got was about what's the difference between life coaching, business coaching, and transformational coaching. There's so many different kind of coaches out there, right? So I think I love to address that, and I also like to probably take a step back a little bit about what is coaching to start with, because a lot of times people talk about coaches, mentor, advisor, consultant, kind of in a hybrid, kind of meshy form. So to be honest, because there's so many different kinds and you cannot really strictly define, you can say this is neuroscience and that is linguistic, but it's very hard to say, am I doing strictly life coaching here, or am I doing strictly business coaching? Because sometimes some of the advice people or some of the coaching you get out of a session will be really about how you're going to manage your life better. So that could be like life coaching, even if you're in a business coaching scenario where there's different strategy being discussed, but then asking you why you really want to do this, because when you understand your why behind your business, you can really then start doing real strategy. Unless you know your why, you can never really bring your business into life, because that's just part of the what, but not, it doesn't have the life of its own unless you really know the why. Knowing the why, really understand what you're doing better. So that's life coaching topic or conversation that you might have, but sometimes it may happen in business coaching scenario, or vice versa. You can have something in a business session but then actually really applicable in your life. It can really spread it across. And I often see that people may have success in one area and then they want to bring it to another. So that's actually my motto, because I often think, if I can do this with this area, why can't I manifest or be wiser or be smart in another area? Because there's no boundary. I'm talking about, say, career and relationship and things. So life coaching often focus on life issues. So it could be about relationship, and there's also relationship coaches. And obviously business is focused on business, and often it's that you are the entrepreneur yourself. So it's coaching for business owner. But what I call transformational coaching, it's that really focus on change, or people who are in transition. Say you want to start or close a business, or you're entering or leaving a relationship. So how are you going to handle that? So how are you going to do it with grace, with integrity, and keep yourself accountable, and have a successful transition. Because getting into something can be as, and leaving something can be equally hard. Like, and there's some people who part in the relationship, whether it's personal, romantic, or business relationship, it is an art form to actually part in good terms. So I love to work with people who are starting on a life-changing project, but I also love to work with people who are the opposite, like ending something, because I think it's also very important, because how you end something also prepare you how to begin something else. It's usually one chapter lead to another, right? So in general, a lot of coaching out there, it's a kind of blend between consulting, advising, as I said, mentoring. Often mentor is someone who have done what you have done before, so they have walked the same path. So they may have more expertise and experience to share. So often mentor will have a similar career path or know-how or expertise in the area of what you are asking for. So I see that as a difference. Although obviously mentor sometimes can mentor someone in a different area, but you can see how the boundary can be quite unclear. But personally, when people ask me, how do you going to find I know this coach is right for you, I often look for a few things. Number one, if you want to work on, say, your finances, your money, and all this kind of stuff, look for if this person is really successful in what they do. So if someone is teaching you about relationship, are they in a happy and good relationship in the first place, right? So I want to work with people who walk the talk. That's really important. It's one of the things about coaches, why we often need to make sure we live a balanced and happy and good life, is because if we can't walk the talk, then it's out of integrity. Like, if I'm in a lot of pain, if I'm a lot in trouble, I probably will say, guys, I can't coach right now. I can't do what I do. I need to sort out my mess, right? That is what I would say a coaches normally tend to be. They have a well-balanced life, so they have the capacity to help another. So I would say, number one, if you're looking for a coach for a specific area, make sure that person is really good at what they say they do in that area, because you can find traces whether this person have integrity or not, and what they do is aligned with your value and all that kind of stuff through social media these days. Most people that you can find them online, right? So do your research, make sure that is aligned. And second of all, I think your intuition also play a part. So I work with people who, it's not exactly in my area, but I know she'll bring expertise or fresh idea from a quite different idea and background into what I do. So when I first started out, I worked with someone who was great with marketing and social media. So even though I wasn't really doing anything very active then, it was my starting point. I really needed that sort of advice because I have no idea. So that was years ago. And I think sometimes you will need specific things, and you may actually need someone that is quite different from what you used to do, to give you fresh idea. But ultimately, bottom line is that you need to feel this person and you have a good connection and you feel right to work with this person. Whether or not, out there's a lot of packages, like as in commitment for, 3 sessions, 10 sessions, or different duration period of time. For me, I think it's a personal preference. People like to work differently. There may be a reason for a program to be on an X amount of sessions, because that could be a continuum of process that the coach utilize. So I don't necessarily have much sort of preference. It really depends on what it is about. Sometimes I like things that could be more flexible, one of just a really expert kind of, I just need to pick your brain kind of scenario, versus I want someone to work with me over a longer period of time, more regularly, for accountability and for more continual growth. That's that. So really know what you're after. And I think it's really important to see, to maybe work with, like, you don't have to necessarily commit to a long-term coaching program, but at least have an initial conversation. If they offer a discovery call, definitely jump on that. or if they offer things like Facebook Live or a free event, whatever that is, sometimes I think you need to get a taste of that person, because that someone may look very good on a website, on the CV, or on the blog. But if you hear the person speak, if you meet this person in person or online in a forum kind of thing, and you didn't feel that you kind of hit it off in some way, not necessarily you get to direct interaction with this person, but you get a sense of feeling, trust your feelings. So even though someone sounds amazing on paper, it not necessarily work for you. So don't buy into that. Or obviously look for social proof. Testimonial is always great because it says something. But once again, even though if the testimonial sounds amazing, but you just don't quite like the energy of the person, don't go for it. Just because you think you should, because everybody say this is the person who knows everything you need. I think the universe is a smarter plan. So your soul, your inner self knows. So that's my long answer to a quite simple question condensed to. So what is coaching? Different kind of coaching. How does it work with a coach, and what is the difference within all that? So that's question number one. Question number two I got here for you today is regarding, someone wrote to me about being overwhelmed. So she wanted to start her own business. She just finished a Reiki course. So she wanted to become a practitioner, but then she had family duties. She have a full-time job. Sometimes you have a dream out there, you're passionate about that, but it feels so tiring every day to just think about how I'm going to get there. And this is what I gather. First, when you embark on a passion topic or journey, say you studied, like this scenario, this lady who studied Reiki course, so energy healing or whatever modality that is your case, you study something, or aromatherapy, or other different, or you all went to coaching certification and stuff. So that's a honeymoon period where you get really excited because you just learned something new, right? So you can't wait to go out there and start practicing, start building up your skills, getting your clients. And there's a lot of, lots of tips and advice out there to help you to start your business or start your practitioner thing. So you get very excited. But then after that, that could come in the period where you get overwhelmed with, because you know what you need to do. So there's a very long to-do list, yet your family is not going away anywhere, right? And your full-time job is still there because you just started, wanted to build your Reiki practice in this case. So that becomes a time where you can't do everything for everyone all the time. So this is, first of all, very normal, and congratulate you that you wanted to start a new chapter in your life, and if you find your passion in Reiki, good for you. Everybody have different paths. We are often multi-passionate people, so you may be passionate about Reiki now, you may be instead of practicing on people, maybe you like to teach in some points, or you may write about it in a book. Like, things will evolve, but again, you need to think about the long game. So sometimes you may want 10 clients this week, or 10 clients or 30 clients or 30 leads this month, because it's what the program said that you should do, or this motivation and business program tell you that you have to get the 20, 30 leads. I think those things are great because you give yourself a goal or to-do list and something to push you on. But then you also need to be mindful that you do as best you can. You keep yourself accountable, maybe work with a buddy or coach, but you cannot push yourself to no end, because we're playing a long game, right? So if you're really interested, passionate about something, you really want to help people to heal their body or soul, and you really want to be a great Reiki master practitioner, you cannot get it done in one course, one weekend, 1 month, or even a year. It takes a long time to build your own skill. You need to hone in your skill. Even though you can be very talented, very passionate, you need time to be a seasoned practitioner, number one. Number two, building business is also a long game. You need to build your reputation. You need to build up your skill on how to work with people, and what could be the ways to build up your business, because everybody is different. Everybody want different things in terms of different business models, or different goals, or different growth rate, many things. So you need to take your time to reflect and learn. So a lot of times people get very excited that they want success now, today, or yesterday. And if they don't get it immediately, given all the stress and, your family and work and everything, it's very easy to, and you get really feeling defeated, feeling that may not be for you, overwhelmed and tired. When we're overwhelmed, make sure you ask yourself what really matters. So if it is about, I really want to help people to heal their wounds because I've been there myself, then think about it. If you can help one person by being kind to yourself, by walking your talk, or doing a demo, or seeing a client, you are making progress no matter how small. So you need to take action, of course, but don't put yourself to no end, because sometimes people get so worked up about how fast they want to grow the business, how great success they want it tomorrow. They forget about the real vision, the long-term plan. To be a really good expert in anything, it takes time. And if you cannot allow yourself that time to hone in the skills, to be honest, you won't be great. You can be good, but not great. And if that's what you want, mostly not. So then, calm down with the overwhelm and take one thing at a time. Maybe you can only, write a newsletter this week, or you can only fix one thing on the website. I often have the same problem. I have a very long to-do list, and sometimes you just want to get through it, right? But sometimes you just can't. You just do one thing at a time, and don't beat yourself up. And when you're overwhelmed, think about what is your long-term vision, what's your long game, most importantly, your why. Don't get crazy and compare yourself to how many things people are doing this week, because if you are in this comparison mode, you can never get peace, because there's always someone done more than you, because you don't know what people have done. You don't know quality of the things that people have done. So there's no point of beating yourself up. So when you get overwhelmed with your work, with business, anything in your life that you want to change or improve or do, when you get to that state, the number one question is that, why am I really doing this? What really matters? And if I can only do one thing, what is that today? And remember, even one thing, one action a day, it will make a huge difference in the long run. So many people gave up halfway through and do nothing for years. And that it's a brick and gas, brick and gas, brick and gas, you go nowhere, right? So that's really important to bear in mind. So that's the second question for today. And also after the Facebook Live, I'm going to list the questions that I have on the post. So if people miss and they want to watch earlier on, then they will know what I have answered. So now I have the third question. So this one is about, how do we handle leaving a relationship with grace? And I got this email from someone who talked about, it's a breaking up situation. It's really hard, but it felt really wrong to break up with someone, and don't know how to really do it with grace, because we talked about it a lot. Someone years ago, I think I heard a book title called Conscious Uncoupling. And that was a really nice term, because I think sometimes saying no or leaving something is really hard. In my last week's blog post as well as podcast, I talked about winding a business. So starting over, or how to create new beginnings. So I interviewed Kathy Wong, who is a serial entrepreneur, and she's actually closing down her latest business. So I talked to her about, how do people start over and start one thing? Like, to close the chapter can be equally hard. So when I get an email about how to break up in a relationship but still keep integrity, but feeling really difficult to say no, because sometimes we know this is the right thing to do to end something, even though we had great time. There was a great purpose, a reason why two people got together, or how to start a business and so forth. Everything have a season. Sort of, there is a beginning and an end often. And so sometimes inevitably we have to leave a relationship. So in this particular case, I'm talking about romantic relationship that I got as a question. I would say, first of all, if you hold the space for love, even though it's a departure, people can feel it. And I think, I personally also have been in a situation like that, and it's never easy. But if you just hold the space for someone with love, and instead of fear, as in worry about what the other person will will react and how they, I mean, it's inevitable that you will feel all that stuff, but coming from the fear-based perspective, what people will think of you if you leave this relationship, or how this person is going to cope, often we get into this fear mode very quickly, like a downward spiral. But I think what I need to focus when it happened to me is that if you can hold a space of love, even though when you're sometimes saying no is also a form of love, because let's say a child is touching burning stove, the logical response is to tell the child not to do that. So saying no not necessarily meaning is a negative thing. It can come from love. The same with a relationship. When you know this is the end, you got to be honest with yourself and the other person. So I would say, no matter how difficult it is, you would know the situation better in terms of personality and stuff, how to end it. But when you hold the space in love for the other person, they will make a huge difference in terms of winding down the relationship. And I definitely, there are things I've done I regretted, but because I think I didn't, did it at the best I could when I was younger. So if I got another chance, I really think that if you hold the intention of compassion and patience sometimes, and when you hold that space, it will make a huge difference in terms of how confident you are with the things you have to say and to do, and also how you respond to their reaction as well. So, this is a really long topic, but this is quite a short answer, but I really think that no matter what we do, let's say it's not a relationship, if it is a business scenario, if you have to, say, leave a partner or, stop the business or sell it or whatever it is to come into an end, and again, knowing your long-term vision, knowing your why you have to end this, and if you're clear about it, and if you know it comes from an intention of positive, loving place, it will come across to the other person. Vice versa, if you're angry with someone, if you are jealous and pissed with someone because, say, the other way around, they break up with you, even though no matter what you say in your mouth, let's say, oh, I'm cool, I don't mind, or whatever that is. This is just probably a bad example. But what I'm saying is that whatever you hold within you, people can feel it, because on the vibrational level, there's no place where you stop and I start. So even though your lips may say something, your energy is actually much clearer to other people. Or even though the lips may say, oh yeah, I got it, I understand, it's all good. But both of you could be just paying lip service, but energy-wise, vibrational-wise, we're all, understand each other on a deeper level. So also a lot of times when, I'm talking about people who are reasonably conscious. If people are very living in a lifestyle where they don't really have many moments that they're fully awake and present in their life, then it's obviously harder. But otherwise, if you're watching this, if you are interested in improving your life in the wellness and the wellness sense that you want to live a good, full, wonderful, inspired life, you probably are what we call the conscious individual, right? So any given person in that sense, have a pretty good sense of how things are going. So even before your lips say it, people would tend to know something may be coming, winding down into an end. So once again, it's not only what you say. Of course, you should trying to find the most compassionate, gracious word to speak your truth. That said, even if you say nothing, when you hold a space with your energy, people can feel it. In a room, you're full of, anger, people can feel it too. So it's the same when you are trying to end a situation, hold it from a place of love, because remember, love can say no as well as yes. So I hope that helped. And today we have answer a few questions, not as many as I would hoped, but today was a crazy day. My daughter is not feeling well, so I need to tend to her again shortly. So that's the drama of having a little child around. And the same with the second question I talked about overwhelming, because sometimes we have plans, we have to do lists, we're all motivated and passionate, and we want to really tackle this, write this poem, make this painting. And then your little one got sick, and then the next thing you can do is that you can just, look after your family. So it may completely disrupt your plan. And if you're lucky, someone else can help you out. But if you're not, you have to deal with it. So don't get overwhelmed. Just don't get overwhelmed by life, because sometimes it's inevitable. So I hope that helps. Daily action helps. No matter how small a step, eventually you will get there. Always have your eyes at the horizon for the long game. No matter what you do, think about that. It's for the long game. And if you are honest and passionate about what you love to do and want to achieve in your life, hands on the horizon, keep your head up and look for the long game and be who you are. So I hope it's fun for you to watch and listen. I'll do it once again next Monday at 7 p.m. And I'll list the question, probably a bit more. Maybe I'll list them before I do this so people know what they're get into. But live questions also welcome. And so thank you all and have a great evening. I'm signing off as Coach Sealing, and see you next week.